Howdy, folks. Welcome back to our special inaugural edition of NiteBites. I'm your host, Clark Guerin.
And I'm your co-host, Denise Oliver.
And I wanted to get back to, you were telling me about how your mom reacted to the inauguration and what that meant to you.
Yeah, but you know what? It wasn't really so much the way that she reacted. It was me thinking about her and what she's been through and what her parents went through. And I started thinking, because my mom, as I said, grew up in Mississippi, worked in the field, you know.
In fact, your ancestors, if you go back, were actually slaves, weren't they?
Of course, definitely.
They came over on those ships.
Yeah, you know, free passage, no passport, you know the drill. Survive if you can. But you know, worked in the fields, made it to California to be with her sister who was already living here. Mother died in the fields. Now, you would think that maybe she would have some harsh feelings towards white people. My mom never, ever in her whole life said anything negative about any white person. I mean, she loved John F. Kennedy. Cried horribly, you know, I understand, when he died.
See, something I share in common with your mother.
Yeah. I mean, and when Bobby got killed and Dr. King and, you know, whatever. But my mom, whenever something goes wrong or would go wrong when we were little, she would, like, I'd say, well, such and such doesn't like me, or this person's doing that. And she'd say, niece, just work on yourself. Just work on yourself. Be the best person you can. And you know what? When you've gone as far as you can, just pray to God. And He'll take you the rest of the way. That's what my mom leaned on. She leaned on that faith. And that made me choke up, because all I could think about is these people in Mississippi, these ghosts of Mississippi that are there by the side of the road that died and bled and for our country to be what it is. They must be rejoicing in heaven right now, because right now someone has been the best that he could possibly be, and it had to be acknowledged.
Well, as I say, one of the things that kind of bugs me a little bit as I listen to all this stuff is that so many are saying that this is so great because a black man is president. And at the risk of arousing your ire that I am being racial or insensitive or whatever,
Oh, Clark.
what hits me is he's our president because he was the best candidate.
Absolutely.
And he's the only one who I think has a chance to lead us out of this mess we are in.
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with him being black, being white, being anything. It's because he is the best. And in that, I think that we are now colorblind. And I don't see why that has that much to do with being black. I mean, let's face it, when he was running, you didn't support him originally.
That's true. I didn't.
You were after Hurricane. You were all for Hurricane Hillary because she's a broad.
No, because then I would have been for Sarah Palin too.
No, Sarah Palin's not a broad. She is a bimbo. There's a big difference between a broad and a bimbo.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, I'm not going to pray, but that's close enough. But which is, by the way, is interesting. If this was so important to have a black man be elected because he was the best, why in the world, if this is so important to the black community and to black people and gives black people so much pleasure, then how the hell could you support Hurricane Hillary?
Well, first of all, when he ran in the February primaries, as you know, we had early primaries, I didn't know that much about him. And I actually thought that Hillary had the better chance of winning. So I didn't want him to wreck her chance, the chance of somebody to beat the Republicans.
And was the reason you thought she had a better chance because she wasn't black?
No, it's because she's a Clinton, and they have a very powerful machine, and they can get things done. And she's Hillary, and I like her. So, yeah, I thought she had a really good chance of winning in the general election. I wanted someone to beat the Republicans. But since she didn't, and as I got to know him, then yeah, I was very pleased. I was very pleased that he got the nomination, and then I support him 100%.
Did you watch his speech at the convention that nominated John Kerry in 2004?
I did not. No, I didn't. I've seen bits and pieces of it, though.
Well, I did watch it. And what I said was, there's the first black president.
Really?
And what I also said was, I wish he was running instead of Kerry. And the reason why I said that had nothing to do with his color. It had everything to do with his background. He embodied the American dream like nobody who has had that office since possibly Harry Truman. He was somebody who came here, who immigrated, worked hard, got to the point of where he had the pinnacle of success. I mean, with the president of the Harvard Law Review, this guy could have clerked for a Supreme Court justice anyone he wanted to. He could have gone to work in a law firm, and he could have been making $500,000 to $1 million a year from the start. He could have done anything he wanted to, and he chose to go back and be a community organizer to try and help people find jobs. He wanted to give back, and that was something unique. And I don't think he left Harvard with the idea he was going to go back and be a community organizer, because maybe 8 years later he would run and be elected president. I don't think he had that goal. I think he went to that job because he had a true desire to help people and to give back and to use his education to do that. Yeah. I think all his reasons were completely unselfish and for altruism. And we've had nothing since John F. Kennedy. We've had nothing but presidents who were there for self-aggrandizement, including your friend Slick Willie and his Slick Willie. He wasn't there to help people. He was there to help himself. If he managed to screw up and help a person along the way, so much the better. But that wasn't what he was all about. That certainly isn't what Bush was about, either one of them. They're part of an aristocracy. But this guy was here to help this be a better place. And we'll be right back, so please stay with us.
We'll get to this.